Hey friends, John Quirk here. And for the past 10 years, I've been a breathwork, meditation, yoga teacher. I'm the founder of a company called SoCal Wellness Retreats, where I've helped thousands of people, bringing them on retreats to reset their body, reset their nervous system, to really tap into intuition, tap into innate wisdom. And it's been my great joy to really help people along the journey of discovering more of who they are, so they can really live happier and healthier and more abundant lives, really feel like they're living on purpose, which is something I feel like I get to do every single day. So the question often comes up for me, what do I do when life feels like it's just too much? Like when it feels like it's overwhelming? And I know that we all go through this, right? Whether we're, dealing with stuff on an interpersonal level, spiritual level, we're looking at the world around us, it feels like everything is caving in. How do we pull ourselves out of these situations? How do we pull ourselves out of these ruts? And two of my favorite teachers, Michael Singer and Eckhart Tolle, talk a lot about how life is really unfolding, how life needs to unfold, and it has nothing to do with anything outside of us. It's really everything to do with how we react or even respond to what's coming through our five senses, right? So it's the idea that life is not bothering you, that you are bothering you. This is a pretty advanced concept. It's a pretty difficult thing oftentimes to embody, especially we're in just the throes of our day to day, right? But the reason why I'm such a huge proponent of, and the reason why this community is called the inner freedom community, is because when you literally free yourself from the inside out, right? When you stop being affected by the things that are happening outside of you, this liberation of energy and this liberation of worry and fear and doubt, becomes this beautiful little dance that you start to do with life. And I can tell you recently, I've gone through some incredibly challenging things. Within the span of 1 month, I had my older dog passed away after cancer. I didn't realize that she was sick. Literally, she was healthy one day, she was gone the next. I had a relationship kind of end in the same sort of sudden fashion. I was going through these kind of energetic upgrades, and I'll kind of touch a little bit on that. But um, I also just had a falling out with my brother. I've had challenges in connecting with him, and he just kind of dumped out all this stuff on me about how he just didn't like me, didn't approve of me, didn't like my life, and said some really nasty and mean things. But as far as the energetics piece and kind of the upgrade, piece, um, I've noticed in my own journey and a lot of the people that I've worked with, especially in a coaching capacity, is as we start to elevate ourselves to new levels, right? And our capacity to really overcome challenge grows. There's just this natural mechanism where life continues to feed us things that allow us to evolve. And a really important mechanism that you can use is to reframe that life is happening to you versus life is happening for you. And that's probably a phrase maybe you've heard before, but can you really embody the idea that every single challenge that's put in your path, and I almost called this video what happens when losses are piling up, and instead I reframed it, called it what to do when challenges are piling up. But can you reframe every single thing that's coming through that doesn't match your preferences as an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to evolve? And this, I'm gonna give that just a second to marinate, right? Because it's such an easy kind of concept to understand, but it's not necessarily easy, obviously, to employ. But it's an absolute game changer. Like when you can start to be stuck in traffic, or you can look at somebody doing something that doesn't match your preferences, whether it's their, doing something that you feel like is immoral, you don't like their political views, or I use traffic all the time. They cut you off in traffic. It's like, can you allow that to just pass through you? To stay relaxed. Michael Singer, one of my favorite teachers, he says, all of spirituality can be whittled down to one word: relax. Like, could you just relax and be okay with whatever's unfolding? So, as all these things have been unfolding in my life, I also turned 40 this month. So it felt like a lot of opportunities to feel challenged were there. But can you reframe it? Can you reframe it as the idea that this is giving me the opportunity to grow, to become maybe more like the vision of who I want to be? And if you don't know what that is, that's a really helpful thing to work with someone on. If you have a coach or a teacher, feel free to reach out to me. But defining the vision of who you really want to become will allow all these challenging situations to be like, oh, yes, like I'm getting to level up to get closer to that version of who I want to be. So I'm curious if any of you guys have, you know, dealt with several kind of things happening consecutively, if you've had any tools that have been really successful for you, and if you have this vision of yourself in the future. And if you don't, maybe what does that look like? Can you share it in the comments below? Or if you're on school, comment, let me know, like, what are some of the things that maybe you're having success with when you feel challenged? What is the situation where you had a big win, where a couple challenges kind of came at you kind of rapid fire? And are you able to develop a vision of yourself and who you want to be in the future? Lots of love to you guys. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.